rewrite as the same trig function of an acute angle. So they're giving us one angle, which is not acute. It's not in the 0 to 90 range, and we have to find a simpler way to express this. These questions have two major parts. The first part is figure out what number the ratio gives you, and the second part is figure out if you need to attach a negative sign or not. So 7 pi by 4, first of all, what is that? 1 pi by 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pi by 4 is in this quadrant. What's its reference angle? That's 7 pi by 4. And this is 2 pi. The difference between those, if you know that 2 pi is 8 pi by 4, you subtract those and you find that the reference angle is just pi by 4. So instead of doing the cosine of 7 pi by 4, you can do the cosine of plain old pi by 4, and the number will come out the same. Now, what about the positive or negative? Cosine, if you remember the cast rule, is positive in this quadrant, and it's also positive in quadrant 1 where my pi by 4 is. These signs agree, and that means I don't have to change anything. The cosine of pi by 4 is positive, so is this one. They should come out to the same number. And if you plug them both into a calculator, cosine 7 pi by 4 and cosine pi by 4, you should get the same result both ways. With cotangent minus 100, first of all, where is minus 100? Here's 0. There's minus 90. Minus 100 is here. The reference angle for it is the one off the horizontal, this angle. And let's see, if there's 180 degrees between these, or if this is 180 and this is 100, then there should be an 80-degree reference angle. So instead of doing cotangent minus 100, we're saying you could just use 80 instead, and you'll get the same number. So the cotangent minus 100 equals the cotangent of 80. Now the other thing we have to check is, will the signs match up? Using the cast rule, we know that tangent, and thus cotangent, are positive in this quadrant, and they're also positive in this quadrant. So again, you should find, you don't have to make any change here. Cotangent 80 and cotangent minus 100 are both going to give you positive results, so there's no need to adjust the sign. Instead of doing this number, you can use this number instead. And I hope we get one where the sign is different, just so you see what that looks like. 11 pi by 2. Starting here, this is 1 pi by 2, 2 pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, 4 pi by 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 is straight down. So what's the reference angle of straight down? Well, you could do it from this side or the left side. Either way, you're going to get the reference angle is 90 degrees. So we can say that sine 11 pi by 2 is the same as the sine of 90 degrees, or I guess I should speak radian, pi by 2. And last thing to check, will the signs agree? If sine is your y-coordinate, then it's positive in these two quadrants. It's negative in these two quadrants. So here, these will not agree. 11 pi by 2, we're down here in negative land. Pi by 2, we're up here in positive land. To make up for that, you have to add in a negative sign. So you're saying the sine of 11 pi by 2 and the sine of pi by 2 are the same number, but this sign indicates you have to flip the sign, though. Where this one is coming out negative, you're going to have to attach that negative yourself to make these two match. In other words, sine 11 pi by 2 is going to be negative 1. The sine of pi by 2 is simply 1, and so you have to add the negative yourself. Notice I didn't use the cast rule for this one because technically the 90-degree marks are not in either quadrant. So I avoided bringing that up. Instead, I talked about the y coordinates because that works even at 90 degrees. Y coordinates are positive when you're in the top two quadrants, and they're negative in the bottom two quadrants, which is a little easier to work with.